So whether or not you think it was an overly ambitious move, scooting up to take him, whether you think it was just flat out the wrong move, that's up to you guys to decide. But I think what you can't dispute is that last year was a complete waste of time for Jordan Love's development.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, BT. And it's interesting listening to Brian Gutekunst's words there, because he's talking about Jordan Love almost at the exclusion of the fact that they had a quarterback who won the damn MVP. It's like, what are you focused on? Right? At the end of the day, the team football, a game of football is about having a successful team and, putting the best players in positions to win. And Aaron Rodgers, your longtime starting quarterback, MVP of 2020's football season, that's what should be your focus. I mean, why are you talking about Jordan Love? I get that you're asking a question, and he's obviously interesting to people, but he's a conversation for 2 years from now, at earliest, because Aaron Rodgers still has plenty left in the tank. Now, maybe, as we always say, he walks off the cliff and he's just a shell of who he previously was, but I got zero indication of that last season. He was healthy the entire year. He threw for 40-plus touchdowns and had less than a handful of interceptions. Like, he's still balling at a high level. Jordan Love should be the least of your concerns right now, or how many reps he's going to get. Now, if we're talking about the preseason, who cares? Do whatever. Give him 3 of the games in the preseason.
Well, there's only going to be 3 games.
Well, exactly. So give him 2 of the games, or 2.5 of the games. Aaron Rodgers doesn't necessarily need it. But the focus for this Packers team should be, how are we winning a championship with the time that Aaron Rodgers has left in his career, and hopefully that career is with the Green Bay Packers. Forget Jordan Love. Develop him as a backup. Yeah. He doesn't need live reps in order to be, what his career is going to look like.
But he needs some reps. That's the point. He's got none so far.
Of course.
0.
But the way that he says that, it's almost it sounds like
at the expense of Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is lunacy.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, that makes no sense. The only thing I would kick back on a little bit, and I know what you mean, but, to me, nobody's 2 years away in the NFL. Nobody's 2 years away. Even when Kaepernick was thought to be, and we knew more. Well, we didn't know a ton about it. Came from Nevada, second-round pick. We didn't really know. We knew he had a baseball bat. We didn't know a ton about Colin Kaepernick. We knew he was a good athlete, good arm.
Yep.
And then Alex Smith got the concussion, self-reported it. Kaepernick came in, played, balled out a little bit. And then, obviously, Kaepernick kept the job. And then Alex Smith had to go elsewhere. And then we know the story with Kaepernick on the field and off. But I would say the only way this becomes, relevant pertaining to Jordan Love as – where there's even anything that's discussed. I agree. He's not going to fall off the way, not the wag. He's not going to drop off the face of the earth athletically in a year, Rodgers. But say if he pulls a hamstring and he's out a month, right? And Jordan Love just seamlessly takes over the offense, might not quite fully replicate Rodgers' offensive production, but there's not a real discernible drop-off. I'm not saying that he keeps the job when Rodgers is healthy, but at least it would speed up the timeline, do they trade Rodgers this offseason to a team? That would change. I'm not saying I would do it either, but that would change, I think, the tone of the conversation. Right now, Jordan Love is a complete non-entity.
Yeah.
Complete non-entity.
Jordan Love should
within 2 years, I would say within a year that could change based on circumstances.
I think he needs to be treated like Aaron Rodgers was treated, to be honest with you. And when Aaron Rodgers was backing up Brett Favre in those however many years it was, 3 years, it wasn't we need to get Aaron Rodgers reps. It was Aaron Rodgers needs to sit back and learn as much as he can from one of the great quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Jordan Love needs to do the same thing. And it's not necessarily about reps. It's more about process. It's more about the mental, preparation and that you put into, studying a defense and understanding, what's going to happen on a night in and night out basis on game days. That's invaluable information and something that, you can learn via experience, but it's easier if you learn it from a master, and he's got that in front of him. So I hear what he's saying. I hear what the Packers are thinking with Jordan Love, but I think their focus isn't on, what our future is and, what are we going to do with Jordan Love's, eventually new contract. It's how can we win a Super Bowl? If that's not what you're focused on, what the heck are you doing it for?
Yeah, I hear you. But I think that they can try to straddle the fence. I think they straddled the fence the night that they drafted him. I think you try to straddle the fence of the immediacy of the moment of cashing in on what remains of Aaron Rodgers' prime.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost, but also secondarily, but not too far behind in the rearview mirror is, yeah, we did move up and take this guy in the first round. And, whether we have to justify the selection, what if for our own sensibility, whatever.
There's no justifying the selection, though. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Unless Jordan Love turns out to be a superstar.
Yes, but you're not going to find that out in 2021.
No. Unless Aaron Rodgers pulls a hamstring or hurts his clavicle like he did a couple of years ago and misses 5 weeks. I mean, that's why. The other thing about Rodgers too, his personality is such that unless the Packers win the Super Bowl next year, no matter how their season ends, whether it's the NFC Championship game, divisional wild card, short of that, which would be a disaster.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it will be a seamless exit off the stage into the offseason for Rodgers.
Next year.
This year coming up.
Yeah.
Like after the season, anything short of a championship. And because of that, I think it's going to make every single offseason, whether or not Jordan Love could play, we don't know. It's going to make every offseason a little less stable, at least at the first couple of weeks of it. I have that sense, like, think about how it ended this year, and the guy won the MVP.
Yeah, I can see that. So if he's short of that and they come up short again,
that's what I'm saying.
It becomes, how often are we gonna we're gonna keep beating our head against the wall the
Correct.
same way?
Yep.
But the challenge is are you better off with Jordan Love? The answer is no.
Oh, I mean, there's no way.
I mean.
Unless he is truly a star and he's getting peanuts on a rookie deal and you don't have to pay Aaron Rodgers $40 million a year.
But that's such a gamble because sometimes these young quarterbacks, even if they're really good, they don't have the leadership skills to take you deep into the postseason and compete for a championship. Well, Aaron Rodgers can do that. I mean, let's just face it. They got beat by a Bucs team that was really good, a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that was Super Bowl. I mean, they were Super Bowl good. They went on and won the Super Bowl. A game later. So, like, Aaron Rodgers had a fantastic year.
Yeah.
And save for 5 or 6 plays, he's got a chance to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And if Pat Mahomes is compromised, which we know he was, Aaron Rodgers could have won that game too. Mm-hmm. So. How often are you going to do that before you give up on Aaron Rodgers? I wouldn't give up on Aaron Rodgers until he can't do it anymore. That's just how I feel about it. And
Me too.
I know that the Jordan Love situation is dicey, and it's I don't know. At some point, you got to justify that draft pick, but
or try to. I don't know that you ever fully can, but you got to try
agreed.
to.
But to me, you got to keep all your eggs on the Aaron Rodgers basket right now.
Yeah, but but there's two sides of that. It's what the Packers omit. But it's also what Aaron Rodgers projects. And Aaron Rodgers is one more playoff ouster away from jumping on his buddy McAfee show and just intimating whatever he intimates and us trying to deduce what it means.
Yeah.
That's why I think every year, even if he wins the MVP next year, I think every year is going to be, at least the early part of the offseason for the Packers, Teak, is going to be a little unsettling. But here's the main reason why. And he's still obviously great. Rodgers ain't getting younger, and Jordan Love ain't getting younger. Mm-hmm. And eventually there's going to be a convergence there where there's going to be noticeable and eventually, depending upon how long he stays, palpable erosion from Aaron Rodgers' skill set.
Oh, when do you think that's going to be?
Like palpable or slightly noticeable?
Just like slightly noticeable.
I think next year. Slightly.
Maybe.
Slightly.
Yeah. Look, he just won the MVP. I can't see that. Maybe when he's 40. I see. Because, look, I mean, until Drew Brees started getting banged up when he was also 40, right? Because 41 he was, because he's 43 now. His 41-year season, that's when Teddy Bridgewater played. His 42-year season, which was last year, that's when Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston at the end of that one game played. So, like, when you hit 40, that's when your body generally is breaking down. Aaron Rodgers is still 2 years away from that. So, I mean, and he feels like he's in better physical shape than Drew Brees was. He's more elusive in the pocket, so to speak. I mean, it's just going to be interesting.
Drew Brees was an Iron Man compared to Aaron Rodgers. Been banged up almost every year.
Yeah, but it's It's because of his physicality that he gets banged up.
But that's part of his greatness. He's out of the pocket where he's not protected.
Not last year. He wasn't.
Not last year for sure. No,
and he stayed healthy. He stayed clean.
Yeah.
Until obviously the NFC Championship game, but that was because they were compromised with their tackles. Bakhtiari was out for the season, so. Without him, we'll see what because he's getting up there in age as well.
He is,
right. He
just got the extension before he got hurt.
Yeah,
too.
He did. There's some
right
mitigating
before.
circumstances around this Packers team right now.
No question. And listen, Tiki, as much and this will probably, it will be remembered by Packer fans and will remember it. But we're giving you the whole macro snapshot. The micro snapshot is you had 3 cracks from the 8-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't score.
Yeah, I don't think that gets held against him for too long.
Well, no, but because that's what I'm saying. It will eventually, and it already has for most, dissipate into the ether as we move on to something else. But that doesn't mean, watching that game, it wasn't confounding watching some of the play calls, some of the throws, and his indecision to run the football. I know he won the MVP and he's Aaron Rodgers and he's great.
Yeah.
But at that moment where he needed to do what Tom Brady almost always does, he didn't do it.
Yeah, but Tom Brady.
It's undeniable. He didn't do it.
I don't know if Tom Brady would have run that football either.
You know what, though? But Tom Brady would have connected on a couple of those passes.
It's true. Good point.
He would have.
Good point.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified when we drop fresh content.